All right, last one here. So, as we know, there's always this sort of self-loathing tone to any celebration of nations as they currently are. But because, of course, they're fundamentally racist, they begin on a lie, everything wasn't perfect until 1972, then, of course, any celebration of anything pre the awesomeness of the 1970s, 80s, 90s, or the unwoken times of 2021 means you can't do things like Independence Day, like they just had in the United States. Now, as you've seen multiple shows over the past few days, there's a problem with the flag, there's a problem with the anthem, there's a problem with the Statue of Liberty, okay? And NPR has decided to suggest that the celebration of the Declaration of Independence is bad because, firstly, all white guys who did it. Secondly, slavery was still part of the law and the culture in the United States. So, James, as our resident Yank, but of course all in on Australia here, the idea that in my lifetime we would go from the red, white and blue of Hulk Hogan in the 1980s to Juneteenth is the new national holiday seems weird to me, but it feels like there are going to be unbelievably parts of the US, the super woke cities, that will put Juneteenth equal to Independence Day and then eventually replace the two.
And, we've seen the same thing here, Paul, with Australia Day, which now we're not allowed to celebrate, or if we do, it has to be very much a solemn and sad occasion. NPR, which is the radio station you were talking about there, they make Radio National look like Sky After Dark. They are about as far left as you can get. But I'm really quite serious about this. We have seen for the last decade or so just this absolute effort to destroy, demonize every bit of Western history while China is out there touting its history, saying they're the big strong horse now. I would love to know how much is Xi Jinping's regime out there behind the scenes quietly funding so many of these movements we see in Australia, in the United States, Canada, England, elsewhere, to undermine the West, to make everybody hate and be ashamed of their own heritage, no matter what that is, and only be able to say that, something is good if it is undermining our own countries, our own culture. It's this critical theory nonsense that's been washing through the academy for decades. But, every time they say, oh, the culture wars don't matter, James, stop fighting culture wars. No, it does matter, because you wind up with a country where your kids are taught to hate it. And I think it's enough.
Well, here's the thing, right? If you are not proud of your nation, then there is no need to defend that nation against any sorts of changes, all right? So, and essentially, then if you don't care about your nation, you don't care about its borders, you don't care about its culture, which means, of course, slowly but surely, you serve it up for somebody else to take. And as you say, look at the way they're playing it in China. Look at the way that they celebrate their national occasions. I'm not suggesting we need to have formalised dance classes for us all to go and pay respect to the dear leader, whoever they are, be it state or federal, but I think we can all agree that the constant undermining of national symbols undermines the country.